Hello and welcome to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. We're enjoying the fall season, and we just kind of concluded with Thunder Valley Rally, and we're all sitting in here and we're talking about the different programs that Cottonwood does, and we're really an intricate community as it pertains to providing programming for our community as well as those from outside our community, and it's just really rather an interesting forum that Cottonwood gets into, and we've been really blessed with a council that has really met a lot of the needs of the community as well as try to provide a opportunity for more funding to actually come in to the Cottonwood area through sales taxes, etc. And so when more people we seem to get into the Cottonwood area through our programs, the more money that Cottonwood actually moves through. And we keep hearing that for every dollar that stays in Cottonwood, then it's spent usually 2 to 2.5 times. So it's rather an interesting thing. And so when we look at Parks and Recreation programming, and it's really a fun thing today that we're going to get into, and we really appreciate having both Terence Pratt, City Councilman, and as well as Professor for Yavapai College that's with us today. So thanks for being here with us, Terence. And we also have Hezekiah Allen, and Hez Allen is the Recreation Services Supervisor, and he's over aquatics and youth and special events programming. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is Walkin on Main. Man, it came so fast. We're already we're getting ready for the main event that we do down in Old Town is associated with Walkin on Main. And the special event program is Saturday, November 14th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., correct, Hez?
Correct. Yep.
And the program will be celebrating Historic 89A with live music, art shows, which is really kind of cool. We have a car show, we have wine tasting throughout the day in Old Town Cottonwood. And if you've never been a part of this program, you're in for a real treat. And I know that's one of the things that Terence has always enjoyed. I have too, because it's a very unique type of a charming location for Walkin on Main. We have all of the galleries and the shops and the eateries, and everything will be open, and it'll be just a lot of fun. We'll be closing down the roadway, which we just talked about last night at City Council. And so having some of the best restaurants in Northern Arizona makes a big difference as well as you walk along there. You can also go to our site, which is www.walkinonmain.com, to check out the event program. But I wanted to ask this question, and I guess I'm curious because we just got done with Thunder Valley Rally, TVR, which is a big, huge motorcycle rally event in Old Town where we close down Old Town, and we're getting ready for, of course, the Walkin on Main, and then again in summertime in June we do Tilted Earth. And so which one do you guys really like the most, or is there one, or is there just some things that you really like about all of them? What is that?
Is it during the program or after?
Yeah, it's going to be during, because
after and before the tough parts.
Exactly.
Yeah, it definitely is. But what do you enjoy the most, Terence?
I like them all.
Yeah.
Tilted Earth showcases our local wine industry that has added a lot to the economy. It brings people from all over the Southwest, and it's great just to show off part of our city. It's at Riverfront Park, and it's a beautiful venue. Everybody has a good time. And then Thunder Valley Rally is a way, again, to show off Cottonwood. And I would say the majority of the people are from out of the town.
That's right.
And this year was just tremendous, because I talked to so many people who said, we love this town. You guys are welcoming, you got great venues, you got great shops and restaurants down here. Everybody was well behaved, and everybody left with such a positive attitude. Walking on Main was actually originally my idea when I first got elected to council. Of course, I didn't do much to get it going. I mentioned it to Hezekiah, and he grabbed the ball and was running.
Right.
It's more of a local event, so it's got more of a family feel to it. And it's great to get people from all around the Verde Valley and Prescott Valley over here, and they just have a great time. Hezekiah does a great job of booking local bands. And my idea originally was, I had talked to some artists, that when I first ran for city council, I said, a city is more than just roads and municipal services. It's also quality of life.
That's right.
And I had talked with some local artists and said, we really don't have a venue to showcase our artwork here in Cottonwood. We go to Sedona. So I talked to Hez and said, let's do this. And he said, yeah, let's go for it. And so we have local artists, the college gets involved, the local wineries, we have the local classic car club, and they have beautiful cars down there. We have the students from Mingus art program, and then we have local bands. And it's just a great event. It's much more relaxed, and it seems a little easier to do than the other ones.
It really is. It's a wind down
Yeah.
even for us. How many years has this been, Terence?
This will be our 7th year.
Wow.
Lucky 7. And I think it's a great way to start the holiday season.
Yeah.
Because, after that we have the chocolate walk and the Christmas lighting, and so we're excited.
Right. Well, and there right now, on your screen is there's the flyer, and again, for more information, just go ahead and type in www.walkinonmain.com, and that information will come up exactly as to what's going on and what's happening down there on November 14th. Now, one of the things that you were just mentioning, Terence, is the art and the artwork and keeping things in the Cottonwood area. And one of the things, according to the National Real Estate Organization, which we've mentioned before, Movodo, who works with the National Chamber of Commerce, and they did a recent poll about a year ago or whatever, a year and a half ago, but it's the 10 most exciting places in Arizona, and one of the things is Cottonwood was ranked number 6, and one of the reasons is because of the containment of art and art programming, music, and all of the things that we have here, within the Cottonwood area and that we're doing. So yeah, I think we're doing a great job, and the idea was, and has now been pronounced more, and it's been expanded. So that's one of the neat things, Terence, is your idea, as well, has come a long way, and it's 7 years now, and I just can't believe that we've gone that long in this program. And again, it's laid back, it's an enjoyable day, and it will really be, I think, quite an entertaining, type of program for family and people who just want to walk. So. Before we break here for this, on our first segment, let's do a mention of who these sponsors are that sponsor this wonderful program.
First and foremost, Edward Jones, our local offices have kind of geared or joined forces to promote this program. They've really got behind it. They've got behind the wine industry, and we're really lucky to have them on board. Obviously, the Old Town Association, and then lastly, the City of Cottonwood are big key sponsors for this program.
Okay, and mentioning also the City Council, because again, they provide us with the funding that we need, that's necessary in order for these programs to grow and to continue to be out there, as well as for the community of Cottonwood, and especially this one, because this is a Cottonwood community event. We do get people, Terence had indicated, from the Prescott, Sedona area, Camp Verde, but a lot of it is local, so it's really kind of fun. We're going to take a break right now. We'll be back here in just a minute. With the second segment, we'll be talking a little bit more as the intricacies and the definite program venue for Walkin' on Main. Thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm Richard Faust, your host today, and we're getting geared up for Walkin' on Main, which is going to be November 14th, which is a Saturday, and it's going to be from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock in Old Town, and the street will be actually shut down on Main Street, and there will be all kinds of art venues throughout the day. There will be incredible music. That's always really a welcome sight, because there'll be blues, and there will be, all kinds of different groups that will be here locally, which is really a great thing, because local artists are always encouraged and Walkin' on Main to be here. And then we're blessed today to have both Terence Pratt, Councilman, as well as Yavapai County professor, Yavapai College professor, and then also Hezekiah Allen, who's our Recreation Services Supervisor for the City of Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Department, and putting these events on. And one of the things we want to make sure we correct right off the bat is what is the actual website that they can go to, that people can go to, because we gave the wrong one at the beginning segment.
Yeah, if they go to azwom.com.
Okay.
We did that to simplify it, make it more easier to use on different marketing materials, more of a branding type thing. So again, azwom.com. That'll redirect you to the city's site.
So the WOM is Walkin on Main. So,
Exactly.
So az.wom, and then they can go from there.
Just azwom.com.
All right, good enough. So we want to make sure that, and it's up on the screen there because we had it wrong there at the beginning. So so make sure you have that change, and you can go on and you can get all the information and schedule for throughout the day and all of that. So, you know, as we talk about main streets in America, we're really kind of blessed here. I mean, this Main Street area is really it's an interesting Main Street. Goes way back, and when you take a look at it, there's some really interesting facts of the Main Street area. But most of all, what is, when we look at main streets in America, why are they so special in the United States, Hez? What is that?
Well, you know, I think if you looked at Route 66 as the mother road, and throughout time it was really prolific that these little communities would build on the mother road, and that was their main artery for economic success. I mean, the Jackson 5 played in Winslow.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Because that was the route from west to east. And so when routes got redirected to major highway systems, that was really about how to transport troops and protect the country. These Route 66 towns tended to die. Well, 89A is, I guess, Arizona's Route 66. It was an Indian trade route from way back when. And when I-17 got built, these 89A historic districts tended to kind of fall off the hill a little bit. And so City of Cottonwood and the council has really made it a point to rebirth our little Main Street town, and Walkin on Main is one of those programs that helps to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I always called it the Renaissance of Main Street. If you went down there 8 years ago, half the buildings were empty.
Yes.
It was a little run down. And I give a lot of credit to our local entrepreneurs who took a chance and opened restaurants, opened shops, opened hotels, and invested their money and said, this place has a future, and we're going to help make the future. And they worked with this city, and I do think our city is very business friendly, at least we try to be.
Yes.
Those of us on council do. And they have really contributed to what I call the renaissance of Old Town. And if you look, you notice there's not one chain down there. They're all private, locally owned businesses. And that was another one of my big things on my agenda when I got elected, was to promote shopping locally. So, because those are the people they're our neighbors, they're our friends. And so one of the things Old Town represents to me is a sense of community.
That's right.
When I go to these events, I see so many people, and I know a lot of people through the college and through my work with the city. And you see them down there, and they're our friends and neighbors, and we're all enjoying it together. And it just kind of rebuilds that community spirit. And even people who are living outside the city limits feel a sense of place in Old Town, like they belong to it too. They belong to Cottonwood. Because Cottonwood really does serve the whole Verde Valley. And people appreciate that. We do that through our Parks and Recreation program. If you go to the softball field, you see how many people are involved in that.
That's right.
And so Walking on Main is just another one, and we really offer a cultural experience to people in the Verde Valley.
Well, as we talk about this too, and we've already discussed you wear two hats. Actually, you're wearing a third one today, which is Thunder Valley Riley's hat.
Yeah.
But you wear the hat of City Council councilman, and you also are a professor at Yavapai College. And what do you enjoy about both of those positions most?
Right.
I mean,
well, obviously, I went into education not for the money.
Right.
I went into education, originally because I love to read myself. And I said, I can major in English doing something I really love to do anyhow. But I love teaching because it affects people's lives in a positive way. When I hear from ex-students about how Yavapai College changed their life, gave them a new perspective on what it means to be a human being, gave them new skills so they can get better jobs, I feel proud. That's the payback, and I get that an awful lot.
Right.
And it's the same thing with the city council. Again, like I said, one of the things I ran on was to be an advocate for and to promote the arts.
That's right.
And I've had people express thanks for that. And I also wanted to advocate for supporting our local businesses. So I just enjoy the fact that I can do something that perhaps has a positive effect on the lives of others. That's the return I get. It's not necessarily my paycheck.
Right. Well, it's great, and it's fun to see a lot of the youth that are actually in their mid-20s to even, into their 30s now, who know Terence Pratt, and they talk about, you're one of the best professors that they've had.
Well,
and so it's just really kind of a unique thing. So it's fun to see that. Now, is it fair to state that you know the pulse of the Verde Valley, Terence? I mean, I think that's probably something you really do.
I think I do, because I talk to a lot of people. And again, I moved here 22 years ago from Mississippi, of all places, and I fell in love immediately.
Yes.
I just felt like I fit in, and I really love the area. I love the people, and I love what's happening in Cottonwood. And again, it's the city government. I think the city works really hard to serve people. And for the time I was here, even before I got on the city council, I was closely connected to the Parks and Recs folk, because I think they just add to the quality of life here. And you guys do a great job, and people should appreciate you for it, and I think they do.
Yeah, well, we appreciate the support also of the council and what you give us too. So it's really been kind of a blessing both ways. Explain to our audience a little bit as to when the wine industry began to take shape here locally, because, again, we will have a lot of the wineries down there on Walkin on Main, so it'll be part of the program. But explain that for us.
Well, I think it was about 10 years ago it really started. There were some smart folks, and the story I got was they had looked at vineyards in a place in Italy that closely resembled our area of Arizona, and they said, if they can grow grapes here, we probably can do that in the Verde Valley. So you had a few people again, and they had to put some money on the line and take some risks, and it was trial and error, but they worked really hard at it. We have some really smart people who know the wine industry.
That's right.
And it really has affected the economy, and again, we get written up all over the country now. And I've actually had people back east ask me about the Arizona wine industry. We're getting that well known. And that spurred a movement for Yavapai College to start a viticulture and an enology program. So we now have 11 acres of grapes at the college. We have a enology program, which is the making of the wine. And again, that was supported by people from the community. It cost the college no money. It all came from the foundation and private entrepreneurs who donated. And when we had our planting days, we had people from all over Arizona to plant the vines. And now we're providing skills to people, and they can get jobs in the wine industry. So it goes hand in hand, and education and economic development work together.
Well, explain the consortium also, because a lot of people talk about the wine consortium here, and when did that idea blossom or actually begin?
I think it may have begun with the fellow that was our dean, who really was instrumental in establishing our wine program, and that would be Mr. Tom Schumacher, who's also an art professor at the college, and he was a dean at the time, and he was an executive leadership meeting. He said, we're going to start a viticulture and enology program. And everyone said, what's that?
Yes.
And he explained what it was. And he visited various colleges and universities around the West and saw what they were doing for a program. And so I think he talked to the wineries, and all the wineries realized, if we all work together as a cooperative, we all help each other. Mm-hmm. So I think that was the beginning. And they shared ideas. They shared, technical stuff. We're having trouble growing this. What do you do about this? Marketing. And they meet, I think, monthly, and they're a very tight organization. Even though they're separate businesses, they again cooperate and work together and realize that they're one.
It is. It's a great community, and I think that the industry is just going to continue to focus for tomorrow in the growth stages, and I think we'll see a lot more coming in. We're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back in just one moment for our third segment, and we'll be discussing more about Walkin on Main and the wine industry as well as the arts programming, and we'll be discussing a little bit more with both Terence Pratt and Hez Allen. So join us again in just a minute as we take a break. Thank you. Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood, and we're just enjoying some time here talking and discussing about Walkin on Main. So thanks for joining us here with Terence Pratt, City Councilman, as well as Professor at Yavapai College, and also Hezekiah Allen, who's our Recreation Services Supervisor at the Recreation Center and Parks and Recreation, outdoor pool, and all of the pool facilities that we have here. We're discussing Walkin on Main and also the viticulture, the wine, industries and everything else. And Terence, I guess some more questions here for you. I think that the council has adopted the idea of the wine region. We definitely see that in the new tagline as well. As well as just the branding and everything that's going on. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a common thing now for communities to brand themselves, and that draws people. You get a name and they associate something with it. And we really work closely with the wine industry to be friendly to them, because we saw that as it's a good thing. It's an agricultural business, and we wanted to support local agriculture, and it's great for the economy. And it brings people in from out of town, and a lot of the people that the wine industry attracts spend money. And again, so it's good for the city's economy. We don't have a property tax. And when we talked about rebranding, they did a big study, and they said, well, you need to associate yourself with the wine industry. And I was an advocated very strongly to maintain the Cottonwood and the river in there. There were some other designs that I didn't like very much, but we call ourselves the heart of the Arizona wine country.
Right.
And I think because we have embraced and work closely with that industry, and we celebrate that industry. And,
yes, we do.
And again, those folks are all our neighbors, and we know the people that are involved in the wineries, the wine tasting rooms, and we all work together to help these events.
It's rather curious, because I had attended a grant seminar down in Phoenix, and it was at the near the Biltmore area, and they were identifying their grant, and they then brought up a segment, and it was National Bank of Arizona, and they actually, because they were doing the grant seminar, but they actually had an incredible video. And right off at the bat, at the very front of the video, is this gentleman that's leaning up against a tree with a glass of wine, and it's Eric Glomsky.
Yeah.
And everybody in there, there's over 200 people in this grant seminar or near the Biltmore area. And then it shows Eric actually tipping his glass, and for about 5 seconds, you just watch Eric as he then turns to the camera. I mean, that's amazing. You're down in the Phoenix area, and Cottonwood in the Verde Valley is already the first thing right on the viewing screen for the winery and the wine industry. So I thought that was really unique. It was quite a message, I think, that it sent out to Arizona. And so that's really kind of a unique thought that came behind that, and I think it was really neat that the banking system actually recognizes that as well.
That is good. And Eric was one of the pioneers.
Yes.
And anyone that knows Eric knows he's down to earth. He's just a regular guy, has a passion for making wine, cares about what he does.
He really does.
Never asked any of his workers to do anything he wouldn't or hasn't done. He's worked in the field, he's gotten his hands dirty, and he is really hands-on and just a great guy.
He really is. And I think, as we talk about this, Hez, and we jump into this, now I know that Matthias Sandoval is one of the individuals we talked about who was sponsoring this year once again. And Matthias is now, it's just been 7 years that Matthias has basically sponsored this program.
He came on board last year or the year before.
Okay.
He's kind of, he's been on board for 7 years, but the last 2 or 3 years, he really financially, the group has come together and got behind Walkin on Main, because at first the taglines matched from Wall Street to Main Street.
That's right.
So we kind of used that, but they changed their slogan. But it's really the local-owned offices here in the Verde Valley that sponsor this program.
So they enjoy that as well, and I think that Matthias really does. Matthias is also one of those people who really enjoys community.
Right.
And what you give to the community, then it comes back around. And so I think that's one of the things, and as a businessman, he understands that as well, but it also is just, he structures, I think, a lot of, in the way of programming, and Walkin on Main is one of those that just fits right in there with him.
Right.
So tell us about the actual wine tasting on Walkin on Main. How does it work? What are the costs involved, and who does it, et cetera? What are the benefits? Where do they go to?
Well, the Wine Consortium puts it together.
Okay.
We kind of help organizing the wineries, and then the funds that are made off of this program help to benefit the Wine Consortium and building and educating the public on the wine industry here locally, and then also legislatively down in the Phoenix area. There's been some hot topics in the past. I don't remember them all off the top of my head, but the Wine Consortium has been our local advocates for the wine industry and distribution and sales and the whole farming industry. Because this is all new, it's burgeoning. So legislative is always behind the curve a little bit. So there's been some catch-up areas, but the Wine Consortium is our voice for the wine industry, and this program helps to benefit them. Basically, you buy a package and they give you a glass and some wine tasting tickets. You get to go around, try some different wines, and everybody there is very educated on the wines that they're selling, which is nice. They'll tell you what kind of grape it is, what vineyards it's at, what degree is, what the sugar content is, and how to taste it. It's an educational experience too.
Okay, that's great. Kind of broadens off then into Tilted Earth in the summertime. So
Exactly.
It's great.
Exactly.
Talk about the genre of music and the motif behind it a little bit. Give us a little bit more information, both of you.
Well, there was a certain individual who was like, I really want blues and jazz music.
And I'm sure glad he did.
Yeah, me too. Because it's different from anything else we do. And it really provides that community aspect, because that's blues and jazz music. It's very, it's from the heart, from the soul. It's impromptu. They say Americana music.
I was going to say it's American music.
Yes, it is.
Exactly. But very Mississippi blues, and kind of, it's interesting. And it provides what a great atmosphere for walking on Main down there. And so we have Don Witcher. Right after that, we have Sweet Baby Ray's, and then we have Cold Shot and the Hurricane Horns. And then Cold Shot and the Hurricane Horns are actually a part of the Arizona Blues Hall of Fame.
Oh my!
So, and then Don Witcher and Sweet Baby Ray's are great local musicians.
They are. They're a lot of fun. Every time they come, they're just enjoyable. So it'll be a great time. So, anything else that the two of you can hit on real quick here as we end this final segment of for Walking on Main for Inside Cottonwood?
No, I just think that if you don't come down and check it out, you're missing something. This is a great event. As Richard said, we have the wines, we have the classic cars, local artists, local craftspeople, the art students from the high school who are tremendously successful, really get enthused and get involved. It's a whole community thing, and it's just wonderful, and it really is great that we have two local bands who are playing American roots music.
That's right.
Sweet Baby Ray, for my money, is one of the best blues harp players I've ever heard. And Don Witcher is just so inventive, and he goes from pedal steel to bluegrass, and and they're both really enthusiastic members of our community.
Yeah, it'll be some nostalgic music, but it'll also be some stuff that you want to get up and dance to.
Exactly.
As well. So it'll be an enjoyable time, an enjoyable day. Again, mark your calendar for November 14th from 11 till around 5:30. Just enjoy the day, have fun. I just wanted to express that one more time as my thanks go out to Terence Pratt. Man, 7 years. Thank you very much from starting the startup of this program. Hez, thanks for taking the ball and rolling with it. And we've got a dynamic program, dynamic crew, as well as wonderful counsel, and it's wonderful to see. So thank you for being with us. Thank you for being with us today for Inside Cottonwood, and join us again next month. But I'm Richard Faust, your host, and I'm Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. Have a great day and a good week.